How's it going, everyone? This is Daniel. In this video, we are going to be talking about Tesla stock, the overall stock market. We got the Chinese sales production data for the month of May for Tesla. We're going to be talking about it in detail, and we're also going to go over, look at what analysts are saying about this data that we got. We're also going to talk about why we got an analyst upgraded today, and also what to expect for tomorrow. We have inflation data coming out, so it could be a really volatile tomorrow. So we're going to talk about exactly what to expect for Tesla and also for the overall stock market. So make sure you stay tuned. We're going to be talking about all this important information coming up. As you can see over here, we have Tesla stock is trading at $721. As I'm recording the video, the stock market is still open. As you can see, Tesla open at around $750. Unfortunately, we sold it to the downside at the beginning of the day. We had the initial jobless claim data that came out higher than expected. We were expecting around 195,000. What we got was 221,000. And unfortunately, that took down the stock market. But for Tesla, it had an individual catalyst. So we got the China sales data for the month of May that we're going to be talking about later on, which came out really positive. It came out higher than April. It was expected to be higher, but we're going to be breaking it down later on. But as you can see, that individual catalyst definitely helped Tesla to push up higher. And at one point, we went up above $750 and we're trading above that. But unfortunately, the overall sentiment of the stock market was trending lower, and unfortunately, Tesla stock also sold off to the downside. And as I'm recording the video, we're sitting at $720. So when you look at Tesla compared to the stock market, as you can see, the stock market was just selling off to the downside, beginning with Amazon down 3.34%. They finished a stock split on Monday. And we have Apple that's down 2.7%. Microsoft, financial stocks down. Even energy is slightly down today. Tomorrow, we're going to be getting the CPI data, inflation data for the month of May. We're expecting 8.2%. But when you look at the price action from the technical analysis for Tesla stock, we're expecting Tesla to potentially, test $750, $760. If we get a positive catalyst, if Tesla reacts positively to the data that we're going to be getting from China. It did react that way, but unfortunately we rejected and we sold off to the downside because of what the overall market sentiment is. And we're looking at a support area around $700, which is relatively strong. But later on, we're going to be going over in detail breakdown of what to expect for Tesla for tomorrow. But the overall market, as you can see, definitely held us back. We're down minus 1.8%. We're looking at a key price point level around 415 area over here. We continuously tested it, but we cannot go past it. We rejected it. Right now, ahead of the CPI inflation data announcement, we are trending lower. So tomorrow, if you don't get any kind of a surprise, anything like that, we might bounce back up, but definitely it's looking at the sentiment is to the downside. Unfortunately for today, we're going to be closing lower. But let's talk about some of the important data that we got from China. So as you can see, Tesla sold 32,165 China-made vehicles in May. So that is fantastic because the April numbers were pretty bad in spite of the COVID lockdowns that happened over there. Shanghai produced 33,544 vehicles in May, which is up 212% from April, which is fantastic. When you compare it to other electric vehicle companies, we have BYD, which delivered around 114,183 vehicles. Yesterday, we talked about that they're going to be partnering with BYD to get the battery cells, which is really good. We also have Li Auto, which delivered around 11,496 vehicles. XPeng delivered 10,125 vehicles. So we're going to be watching a detailed breakdown video of exactly what analysts are expecting, right? So they saw the rise in the number of production sales for the month of May, and they increased their price targets to above $1,000. We're currently sitting at for Tesla at around $720. So they're expecting Tesla to finish above $1,000 by the year. But we're going to be watching a detailed breakdown video of that, and I'm going to come back and then we're going to go over a look at what to expect for Tesla for tomorrow, what to expect for the overall stock market. But first, let's check out the video.
That stock is up about 2.5% after UBS came out this morning in a note and said now is a good time to buy, upgrading the stock to buy from neutral, maintained its price target. However, and the analysts, they're saying that there are record high backlogs, increasing margins. Those are some of the reasons for the upgrade. A lot of it had to do with the valuation because we have seen the stock really fall quite a bit. We also, speaking of China, have seen a reopening of China production. And while the production there is still not back to pre-shutdown levels, it's up about triple over the past month or so. So we see Tesla benefiting from some of the loosening of the COVID restrictions there.
And so much of the decline that we've seen as well in recent weeks, especially since early May, mid-April even, it's been attributed to what the CEO is going through on a totally separate issue in how he might have to unload a fair amount of his shares continuing to sell, which would essentially depress the stock price to the point where we've seen right now where, I mean, it's sitting at around $744. You compare that to some of the highs that we had seen of these past 52 weeks of $1,200 in advance of that. And so I think for Tesla, it really is about what they're citing in some of the fundamentals remaining solid for them. If they see more people purchase a mass market Model 3, which is really the car between the 3 and the Y that are going to make up the lion's share of the sales, the deliveries, the production for the foreseeable future, and making sure that they're actually opting into a higher package on those, thus propping up some of the margins there.
Yeah, I'll point out two things from this. Now, Patrick Hummel is the analyst over at UBS that wrote this one. He's noting that he's actually cutting his earnings per share estimates by 12% for this year because of those Shanghai lockdowns. So just something to stick away because, of course, as this situation in Shanghai impacts the likes of Tesla, it's impacting Apple and many other manufacturers in the country. You have to wonder if you'll see more analysts slash their ratings or earnings estimates on an Apple or a Tesla here because of these lockdowns. And the next two, the innovation pipeline is seen as a key growth driver from this note, according to Hummel. But I would say this is the first year where we have started to really see some strong competitors in the EV space. And it's not just GM, it's not just Ford. We were talking about Polestar yesterday, putting out a credible SUV. Now, none of this is coming to scale anytime soon, but still, this promise that Tesla is going to have new rivals in the EV industry, this has been the year where a lot of these new entrants have finally brought their things to market, and they're starting to scale them up in a big way.
Well, and in China itself, there's already robust competition, right? So let's talk about NIO for a second, because that company reported numbers this morning, and the numbers were disappointing. Yeah. I mean, that said, it is one of the competitors to Tesla, but the company came out with second quarter delivery and revenue forecasts that missed analyst estimates. That's why the stock is down some 7.5% today. And if you look at the vehicle deliveries last quarter, just under 26,000, they actually delivered fewer vehicles than Xpeng and Li Auto, which are another couple of EV makers in China.
Absolutely. And on the topic of NIO, the vehicle margin, 18.1%, that was actually a decrease versus the 21.2% margin that they're seeing per vehicle. So a declining vehicle margin. You've also got the broader production issues that we've been monitoring, especially for companies in China that are trying to produce these vehicles, make sure that they're still hitting on some of the delivery metrics. And overall, the increases in revenues from the first quarter of 2021, I mean, sequentially, there is not much that they're able to grasp onto here. But if there's anything that we can look to, it's the broader wave of consumers who are still looking to opt into an electric vehicle in some capacity or another. It's really going to come down to, I think, as well, where these companies fall within that range in the high value, high cost kind of part of this equation, too.
I'll just quickly add two good, helpful note by Jeff Chung over at Citi on NIO, noting that June sales volume, if they hit the top end of their guidance, could be up 84% month over month as some of those lockdowns ease. That is helpful, but I think we are seeing the stock. Maybe there's a contrarian take here. There's still a lot of questions about margins. What do the margins look like on this business in an inflationary world when things are locked down?
Now let's go over what to expect for Tesla and the overall stock market for tomorrow. So it's going to be a prediction. As you can see over here, Tesla is selling off to the downside even as I'm recording the video. We have a key support level of $700. So if tomorrow, if you don't get any kind of big surprise, if we are getting inflation data, which is 8.2%, if you don't get any kind of number that is above or below it, you know, the stock market is going to definitely be going higher because there's nothing new. There's no big surprise, right? So that could definitely help out. But unfortunately, if the stock market, if we get any kind of surprise and the stock market decides to sell off, we could potentially test $700. And if we go higher, nothing new happens, we might test again the $760, because if the sentiment was definitely positive, we could have seen Tesla stock breaking out of the $750 area and closing above it. But unfortunately, the overall stock market is just uncertain about the data that we're going to be getting tomorrow. And we'll see how and what could happen for tomorrow. Of course, the most important thing to watch out for is going to be if inflation is actually trending lower and lower. And we're expecting to be lower. We have different investors, different analysts are expecting that. I anticipated that inflation already peaked the previous few months, and they're expecting it to go lower because the Fed is taking aggressive measures, increasing interest rates. We have another interest rate hike coming up pretty soon, so we'll see how everything's going to be unfolding for tomorrow. But let me know in the comments below, what do you think about Tesla China sales delivery number that came out? I'd love to hear your opinion. Of course, if you're new to the channel, to make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on notification bell. We are going to be having a live stream on Saturday, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But I'll catch you guys on another video tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.